Do you want more control over your life? More freedom? More confidence? Do you want to set your own rules and steer your own ship? Are you sick and tired of the 9-to-5 grind that's eating away at you and robbing you of all your time, barely getting you by? How about a new way? A new side hustle, side income you can use now to do things like pay off debt, buy a new car, wipe away credit card bills and student loans, remodel your home, take exotic vacations, fancier dates, buy your friends a round of drinks, send a nice gift to your family. How about an emergency fund or even a down payment for a house? And so much more. Welcome to the Flipping Ninja Podcast, where we teach you how to take charge of your life and make your own money flipping things on your spare time. Sound complicated? We'll cover it all, from what to buy, where to look, marketing and selling tactics that create demand, and bring you top dollar, research, pricing, creating ads that sell like crazy, and even powerful principles on the inner game of success. So if the idea of being your own boss is exciting, you're in the right place. Now, here's your host, the world's leading authority on flipping, AJ, from theflippingninja.com, unplugged and unleashed.
Hey guys, it's AJ, the Flipping Ninja. Today's podcast is going to cover the biggest topic that is everywhere right now, which is coronavirus, okay? So we got coronavirus, we got quarantines, we got, everyone freaking out. Your whole life is changing. The whole world, everything has changed, okay? It's changed economically, it's changed, stores are closing, everything has changed, okay? We've never experienced something like this before. So this podcast episode is going to cover what you need to know and my take on everything that's going on. So my job is to position you for success, okay? That's what I do. Part of that is making sure I have all the facts. Part of that is making sure I'm on top of everything. Part of that is making sure I have found all the different pieces to the puzzle and put them together to the best of my ability so that I could give them to you. This is literally the first time I am posting anything, any piece of content on coronavirus and everything that's going on. And there's a reason for that. The reason is because it was too early. I didn't want to give any premature advice or strategies or tips because everything was changing. I needed more information. I needed a solid place to work off of. And even now, what I say, what I share with you today could very well, things could change next week. Everything is changing so rapidly, but I know a lot of you have questions and are wondering, especially if you are someone who flips things or, you're a buyer and reseller, or even if you're someone who has maybe got laid off from your job. Maybe you're someone who works a 9-to-5 and you got your wages cut. Maybe you got your hours cut. Maybe you're freaking out. I mean, the whole economy is kind of freaking out right now. It's like the economy, the effect that this whole coronavirus has on the economy is probably 1,000 times more significant and impactful than it has on people physically, right? So it's a big deal and it sucks. I know, right? With that being said, a lot of people have so many questions from a flipping standpoint. It's like, what do you do? There's quarantines, there's social distancing, there's all closing of non-essential businesses. So, if you go to thrift stores regularly, maybe they're all closed. If you go to pawn shops, if you go to flea markets, how can you thrive? What are you supposed to do? Right? So the first thing is that before we get into anything on flipping, on buying and, reselling or making money, etc., the first thing is that you have to take care of yourself. Okay? When I say yourself, I mean, you have to take care of your own well-being. So physically, mentally, emotionally, right? So things are changing. Your routine is being adjusted, right? So, maybe you're stuck home all day and everything has kind of slowed down. So you're freaking out like a lot of people are, right? So with that being said, the first step is you have to get out of a place of denial. If you're still in a place of denial, then now's the time to get out of that. Okay, so if you're one of those people who were like, this isn't happening, just give it some time, it'll go away, or whatever the case is, whatever attachments that you had to your previous life and your previous identity, you have to let go of. Okay, so the first step is you have to get out of a place of denial. Okay, something big happened that affected the whole world, right? And you have to accept and acknowledge that. Okay, because you can't improve something until you acknowledge it, right? If you have a problem, until you acknowledge it and recognize it for what it is, you're never going to get any better or be able to fix it or get out of it. So the first thing is you have to accept and acknowledge that right now things are very different. Okay. And part of that is the next thing is that whatever sense of, identity or goals or the person you were before all of this, the person you were when everything was normal, you have to let go of that person. Okay, I don't mean completely let go of who you were. What I mean is if you had a certain roadmap in your mind or goals or plans or whatever it was, or you were attached to a certain concept of yourself or identity from when things were normal before, you have to let those things go. Okay, let those things go. Detach from them, because things will not go back to, we're in a different environment right now. Okay, so the person you were in the other environment before all of this happened, the person you were will not be able to carry out what you were planning on carrying out in right now's environment. Does that make sense? So right now's environment is completely different. It's totally different. Your strategies are going to have to change. You're going to have to change. You're going to have to make major changes on the inside. Okay. So a big theme that has been coming up for me personally is the idea of recreating yourself. Okay. And a lot of this, so this podcast episode, a lot of this is not even going to have to do with flipping. It's not even going to have anything to do with, flipping or making money directly. A lot of it is going to cover just making sure your mindset is positioned for success, right? So like I said, the first thing is just making sure that you're okay, your well-being, your health, your, mentally, emotionally, all those things. You want to make sure that you want to really give those things a tune-up right now after this huge change that we're going through, right? So whatever idea or concept or, person that you were before when things were normal, let all that go. Okay, let it go, because as long as you're clinging on to that, that means you're in a place of denial. You still haven't accepted the present moment. Okay, because the present moment is very different from what it was just like when things were normal, right? So the first thing is you have to let it go, accept that today, right now, things are different. Okay. Next thing is, have you noticed how it's almost like time has slowed down? Have you noticed that? Have you noticed how it feels like time slowed down? Everyone is at home. Everyone's working from home or, quarantined and etc. We got social distancing in place. We got businesses closed and stuff like that, which at first it was depressing, right? I mean, it was depressing. It's like you're put in a cage. What do? You're freaking out. Things are not normal. What do, right? But it's like after you adapt, and that's the beauty about human beings, we adapt, right? So after you adapt, you kind of notice a certain type of beauty in everything that's going on. And what I mean by that is, a lot of people have told me too, and I feel the same way, but they're like, it's just, it feels kind of weird. It feels like time has kind of slowed down, which is totally true. Time has slowed down. Your perception of time has changed because of what's going on. I mean, before you lived in this fast-paced world of like, gotta be there on time, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta go to work, can't be late. It was hectic. It's like you didn't have enough time to do everything you wanted to, right? Nobody did. The world was so fast-paced. But it's like now, because you're literally forced. You're forced. It's like you got hit with a baseball bat right in the face. And you're just like on the floor. As you're getting up, you're like, oh my God. Wow. Things feel slower, right? So everything has slowed down. Time feels like it's slowed down. So right now is the time to recreate yourself. Okay, right now is the time to recreate yourself. That means all of those things that you've neglected in the past, all of those things, whether it's, working on yourself, whether it's health, whether it's exercise, whether it's fitness, whether it's, learning a new language, whether it's learning a new skill set that you've always wanted to learn, but just never had time to, right? Or didn't have the discipline to do it before. Or even simple things like going outside in nature or, anything, whatever it is. Right now is the time that you have to double down on all those things. And you have the opportunity to do them in a weird way. Imagine if those are the exact things that you needed to do all this time in order to reach the next level, right? So the big thing is with everything going on, first thing is, you don't want to waste the time being in a state of depression. You don't want to be in a state of, just wasting time and like wondering what's going on, constantly watching the news. The first thing you want to do is accept and acknowledge that things are different. You have to let go. You have to let go of the past because right now you're living in the present, which is very different, and it's never going to be the same again, right? Even if things go back to normal, things, we don't know what will happen. That's the truth. We don't know what's going to happen. But it's like there's still elements of beauty in all of this, and opportunity, and you just have to find it, right? So now is the time to get in touch with your inner self, with your, with yourself, and do those things that you've been neglecting. Start to recreate yourself. Really dig deep and make sure you're doing okay. Does that make sense? Like the first thing is you want to make sure that you're doing okay and everything is going good. Okay, so don't look at what's happening right now as something negative or a setback. Look at it as now's the time to become who I was always meant to be. Look at it like that, right? Develop those skills, develop clarity, shape and recreate yourself. Okay, don't be anchored or attached to some previous identity or concept you've had of yourself from before. Don't be emotionally attached to the old. Okay? Because, like I said, we're going through some real stuff right now. Worldwide, everyone is getting affected. Everything is getting affected. This isn't a time to be in denial. I mean, when it first started months ago, trust me, I was the first. I was the first person who was, saying, "Oh, give it some time, it'll go away." Right? Because I was still that person. I was still in hustle mode. I was still like, just doing my thing, following my plans and goals, and I was just ignoring it, which is good, right? But eventually, if something is important enough or big enough, it'll get to you somehow, right? Through friends, through family, it'll reach you. And it kept growing. So long story short is it finally got to a point where it's like, okay, let me look into this, right? Let me see what's going on. And clearly we can see everything is changing. So the most important part about it though is your ability to adapt. So you face it, you acknowledge it, you go through your, oh my God, this freaking sucks. What's going on? What are we going to do? Freak out phase, but don't let that last more than a day or more than a week. However long it takes you, go through that period, but don't let it last. Okay. Afterward is when you want to start building, start recreating yourself, create the new you that's required to thrive in this environment. So Charles Darwin had a famous quote. He says, "It is not the strongest species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but rather the most responsive to change." Think about that. Okay, think of it as a reset. Think of everything that's going on as a reset. So now's your time to focus on all those things that you couldn't before, you didn't have time to do before, you didn't have the discipline to do before, things like finances, health, personal development, hobbies, things you always put off. Get in touch with that power, that essence that you always had, but have been maybe neglecting for a while. So get past denial as quickly as you can and get into action. Position yourself to be in a place of strength, not weakness or retreat. So that means take care of yourself, take care of your health, take care of your thoughts, your thinking, your mindset. Make sure your well-being is top notch right now. Because if you're depressed, or if you're sad, or you're freaking out, or you're anxious, or you're stressed, the flipping stuff, the buying and reselling, the making money, the side hustle, none of that stuff matters. I mean, if you're in a state of depression and paralysis, I could literally show you how to make, $500 this week during all this, but none of it would matter because you're paralyzed, right? So the first thing is you want to make sure that your mindset is, get out of denial, get into a place of acceptance and let go of that old you, that old self. Let go of it because we're living in a different time. It sucks. It's totally unexpected. The whole world didn't expect it, right? Everyone's getting affected, but it is what it is. So the faster you can get to that point of acknowledging it, the faster you can start rebuilding and recreating yourself and coming up with new strategies. It's like rid yourself of all the negative thoughts, of all the negativity, all the, negative emotions from everything that's going on. Detach yourself from the old routine, the old life you were living with that old routine, so you can get ready for the new. So on the plus side, the good news is that there is opportunity still. Okay, there still is opportunity. Trust me, there's opportunity to make money. There's still opportunity to thrive and make money in this business. Okay, despite everything that's going on. But the first thing is you have to empty all of the negative feelings and thoughts and emotions that you might have. It's like if you came to me with a cup full of piss and I had some tea, right? And I'm trying to put some tea in there. If your cup's filled with pee, you ain't getting no tea, right? So the first thing is you need to have a clean slate. Okay, now's the time for reset. You have to have a clean slate. The faster you can do that, the faster we can get down to business. The faster you can learn the strategies, the faster we can talk about what you can do now to make money, flipping things and continue. Or if you have no experience and maybe you got fired from your job and you're looking for other ways, you're desperate for ways, you stumbled on flipping and maybe you're searching that way. Like I said, things are changing so quickly, but as we're navigating day by day, people are still making money. Okay. I don't even want to tell you how much money I made 2 weeks ago flipping things. It was ridiculous. And it was kind of eye-opening for me because I made more money just a couple of weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks ago, in that window, that small window. I made more money flipping things in that small window where the world was burning down than a lot of times that I've made when things were normal. And that just gives you perspective. It's like, that's something I need to address and look at. It's like, why did that happen? Right? So it's all mental. It's all psychological. I must have, freaked out and just went on overdrive and made all this money. But it's like, it just shows you that opportunity is still there. But like I said, the first thing is your mindset has to be ready. You have to be ready for it. Okay. So clean your slate, reset everything. Don't watch the news and start to develop skills. Okay, now's the time to start working on yourself. That means read those books that you need to read. Take those courses that you need to take. Learn the skill sets that you need to thrive. Learn the skills that will make you money. Okay, learn the skills that will make you better. Learn those things. Invest in yourself. Invest your time, energy, resources, money into yourself right now because time has slowed down. Okay, everything has slowed down. Everyone's stuck at home. Everyone's freaking, quarantining. Now's the time where you have to invest your time, your energy, your money, your resources into your own development. Here's the deal. You say, well, AJ, I don't have any money. Why should I invest in myself? Because you don't have any money. That's why, right? You say, AJ, I don't have 10 minutes to meditate. What should I do? I say, you should meditate for an hour. Is this making sense? Now's the time. Okay, now's the time. Like I said, this first episode, there's so many different things to cover on coronavirus, right? It's like, where do you start? Where do we start? Everything is changing. Where do we start? But it's like, focus on the things we covered today. And then I think this is going to be a multi-series podcast on all this coronavirus and all of this flipping stuff, right? You might be wondering, well, AJ, you didn't cover any specifics. How can I go out and make money flipping, right? Yeah, we didn't cover specifics because the specifics don't matter right now if you're in a state of paralysis. Right? If you're in a non-resourceful state, none of the techniques, the tactics, the specific steps don't matter, right? If your beliefs are not there, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to hammer this in one last time. Just think about this for a sec. Right now, you're literally forced. You're forced to slow down in this world that was so fast-paced and so hectic and so got to make it here, got to make it to work, got to do this, I don't have time for this. I mean, just take a moment to think back to what things were like before for you when everything was normal. There were so many things in your life that you were neglecting because you just couldn't do them. You just didn't have the time to do them. You couldn't get around to doing them. Whether it's meditating or whether it's reading more or whether it's, learning a new skill set or learning how to make money flipping things, right? Going to the gym, exercising, eating right. I mean, these are things that you have to do to take care of yourself that you should be doing regularly anyway. To take care of your body, your mind, your health, your finances, your personal development, all these things that you wanted to do, all these skills that you've been wanting to develop, all these things that you've been having to develop, the person who you always wanted to be never got to happen. It never got to be because you were living in this fast-paced world in routine where you didn't even have time to do the things that you had to do to get to the next level. It's like you were spinning your wheels like a hamster. You were living this life of the same routine, the same habits, the same thought patterns. I mean, habits are powerful. Once you get into the same routine, with a job, with life, with just the day-to-day, once you get into the same routine and it's become a habit, once you get used to all that, habit of the same routine of school, etc., and it's the same thing every day, it's very hard to break out of that, even if you wanted to. I mean, why do you think there's millions of people every year who set these goals? I want to get into shape. I'm going to start eating right. I'm going to start exercising and going to the gym because I really want this. And they really want it. I mean, they really want it. But they don't stick to it. Why is that? Why is it that despite how bad they want it, they'll do it a couple times, and then after a few times, they'll just kind of quit, and it'll be really hard. It'll be really challenging. Well, I can't speak for everyone. I don't know all of the reasons. It's different for everyone. But I know one of the reasons that contributes to their failures or, lack of success in whatever it is they're looking to do is the routine and habits that they're so locked into. The same patterns that they're so, anchored to. So in NLP, we call it, NLP stands for neuro-linguistic programming. It's something I've studied, and the concept of it reminded me of this when I was talking about it. So in NLP, we call what's going on right now, or we could call what's going on right now, a pattern interrupt. So basically what a pattern interrupt is in NLP, a pattern interrupt is interrupting a pattern of behavior or thoughts that someone might have. So you could use it to, induce a trance. You could, use it to basically interrupt an unresourceful pattern of behavior. Okay, so a pattern interrupt gets us out when we're stuck in a rut. It kind of throws you off a little bit, right? So it produces like a temporary, confusion almost. So it's designed to shake a person up, to break their individual routine or habit that they have. So a simple way to understand a pattern interrupt is, imagine if you're driving to work in the morning and, if you're like most people, you take the same route every day to work. You take the same route from home to work, right? And we're like monkeys, right? Totally conditioned to repeat these tasks in the same way every single time. So, which the cool part about that is how, useful it is. I mean, you don't have to think. You literally just go on autopilot. You leave your house, you drive to work. You're not consciously thinking. So your unconscious mind takes care of everything, right? It's a routine. It's a habit. It's the same freaking thing every time. So imagine one day on your way to work as you're driving, you're just literally driving, you're daydreaming, and then suddenly out of nowhere, boom, a tree just falls in front of your car, and you just immediately, automatically, you slam the brakes, and you're just there. You're like, your car comes to a halt, and you're just frozen for a few minutes. You have no clue what the heck just happened, what you're doing, what's going on. And now your unconscious doesn't know how to respond. It's waiting for instructions from either your conscious mind or from someone else. Like your pattern was interrupted, right? So similarly, this whole coronavirus thing that's going on, this is one of the biggest pattern interrupts that we have ever experienced, period. Just stop and think about it for a sec. This is one of the biggest pattern interrupts that the world has ever experienced in our time. Now, the pattern interrupt doesn't always have to be bad. It doesn't always have to be something negative or bad. A lot of times it's a good thing. It could be a good thing, right? Obviously, in this case, the whole coronavirus stuff, that's not a good, it sucks. I mean, that's not people getting sick and a virus getting spread is not a good thing. But on the flip side, because it already happened. So at this point, at this stage, think about what you could do. Think about what this is forcing you to do, maybe what you should be doing. Okay, so like I said, right now is a time for you to recreate yourself. You have the time to recreate yourself. You're forced to recreate yourself. I mean, you have nothing else to do. You have nowhere else to go, right? We're all stuck at home quarantining right now. So if you stop and think about all this for a sec, can you see how there's so much beauty in so many things, in everything that's happening? Can you see the beauty and opportunity now? Can you see how there's so many blessings going on here as well? Like I said, at first I was, when all this first happened, I was feeling, kind of stressed out. I was like, what the hell is going on? What's going to happen? Nobody knows. What's the future going to look like, right? I was freaking out. We were all freaking out. But then later on, as you adapt, you give it a few days, you give it a week, and you start to adapt. And you start to see so many blessings, so many positive things that come into view that you weren't able to see before, or you couldn't see before, or you neglected before, or you simply couldn't slow down enough to see before. So now that time has slowed down for you, you can really pinpoint those things and really work on them and really spend the time, invest in yourself to learn those skills, to do those things that you wanted to do. And you can really just take your time and build those things that are important to you, those values. Get back in touch with your values, get clarity on who you are, get clarity on your beliefs, your values, get clear on everything. So I'm here to tell you that even though, with all the news, everything that's going on, all the media, everyone's freaking out. There's a lot of things that people are freaking out about. There's still a lot of good. Okay, there's still a lot of beauty. There's still a lot of positivity. All of that is still there. You just have to find it with a different lens. You just have to take your lens off of the media, the news, and just all the negative, and you have to find and locate and just see that everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. It's not the end of the world. Okay? It's not, don't be so anxious. Relax. Be calm. Be grounded. I mean, just to give you, a quick example, just the other day, I went on a bike ride, right? Like I said, I love nature. Unfortunately, I don't go out in nature as much as I would like to, or, take walks or, hiking or any of that. I don't do those things as much as I should and as much as I want to. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's weird even saying this, but probably like 2 to 3 times a year. Going out in nature specifically to do those things. But the thing is, like, I love doing them, right? And I know that there's so many benefits to doing it. But anyway, the other day I went on a bike ride, right? So I took my bike to this lake. I mean, everywhere's closed. You can't freaking go to the mall and stuff. You can't go to the movies, whatever it is. But I go on this bike ride. I take my bike to this park and this with this lake in the middle. And it was this beautiful sunny day. Everyone was outside, just because of everything that's going on, right? It was this perfect sunny day. So I go on this bike ride, and literally the whole time I feel this richness in my heart, in my soul, right? I felt this richness in my soul, this happiness and this joy, because what I saw and what I felt and what I experienced was something that I haven't experienced in a very long time. Okay, I mean, there was like this beauty of, I was just riding my bike and I was taking in all this nature that I've been neglecting, right? All this beautiful, trees, water, just being outside. And not only that, the other thing was just seeing all these people together, seeing everyone together, because it's like, we're all in this together, right? I mean, we're all like, that's the difference between this and, something else. Like, this isn't something that's like this whole coronavirus stuff. It's not something where it's like some people can totally be not involved or for it or against it or something like that. It's not something like that. It's nothing like that. Everyone is going through this together. Isn't that interesting? So when I went on that bike ride, I saw all these people who were outside and, people who never even come out normally. And I just felt like this feeling of happiness, richness, right? Like I just felt this connectedness with everything, with everyone, with nature, with all these people. And it was like this unconditional happiness, this unconditional love, this feeling that, it was like, honestly, in that moment, I didn't need anything else. Like nothing else mattered. Everything else, all the stresses, all the worries, all the problems in my life just literally melted away. Right. So, I just felt this connectedness, and the feeling that I had, it was like divine. Right. And it was also profound because, you don't see that as much these days in today's world. You don't get to experience that as much in today's world because of, what it's like in today's world. And I don't mean today with coronavirus stuff. I mean, before, like, people are just too fast paced. They're too busy. They're neglecting a lot of things that actually do a lot of healing for you, for the soul, for the conscious, for, for your state, your well-being. Like something as simple as being out in nature. I mean, the therapeutic effects that has, I probably don't even know all of them. There's probably way more than I even know, but it's no joke. And like I said, it's like everything has slowed down. It's like time has slowed down. People who never take walks or go outside are taking walks and are outside, right? And it's like everyone was just coming together in a sense, right? So, there are so many things that are going on with this whole coronavirus stuff and everything you hear and people freaking out and what's constantly on social media and the news and, your freaking smartphone that's attached to you like an extra limb that you're checking 300 times a day. You're constantly seeing something negative, something bad, something worse. But it's like, through all this, you have to start looking for the positive in the beauty because there's so much of it. And you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it because that's going to affect your life experience. And why do you want to do that to yourself? That's not going to help you in any shape or form or way. That's not going to help you at all. And I know that this is totally, unrelated to flipping you're probably like, what the heck is this guy talking about? Why is he going all weird and deep on me and talking about these things? I just want to learn how to make money flipping things. What is this guy? But it's like, the truth is, I'm telling you these things because these are things that you're going to have to think about. And, you're going to have to start thinking about these things and looking for them and recognizing them as you navigate back in to the world of flipping, as you navigate back in to, recreating yourself, learning skills, being motivated, knowing that the world is not, knowing that it's not the end of the world. Right? So these are things that are critical. I mean, it's your mindset. It's your whole frame on the world, right? So sometimes you have to really go deep if you want to go deep. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying is that this whole thing with coronavirus going on, this whole thing with, quarantine, this whole thing with social distancing, being stuck at home, whatever, it's going to force you to look at a lot of things that you might have neglected in the past. So this is a time to recreate yourself. This is the time where you want to invest in yourself. Okay, you want to invest in your learning, invest in your skills, invest in your education, invest in your health and yourself, right? And it doesn't matter if you were someone who before you're experienced with flipping things or, the buy and resell business. It doesn't matter. You're going to have to hit the reset button and recreate yourself in this new environment and relearn the rules, the new rules. I mean, you're starting fresh. That's how it is right now. We're all starting fresh. And if you have no experience with flipping, you've never done it before, you're on the same boat. And you're in a really good spot because now's the time that you can learn all this in this environment, right? So when things do get better and do get improved, you're going to hit the ground running so fast. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I spent that time productively, all that downtime, and invested in myself. I'm so glad I didn't just kill that time and waste all that time being at home. And I understand that you might be like, okay, AJ, I got it. I get your point. You still didn't show me how to go out and do specific things now. I need money now. What can I do now? Because Who knows? I mean, a lot of you, it could be, for a lot of you, it could be that, before you maybe worked a job and were totally good, and now you got totally cut, and you're at a point where you're forced to find another way to make money. You're forced. You have no choice, right? Now is your time to shine. Now is your time to enter the arena of flipping. Begin your training, begin your learning, start selling something, right? Go and sell something right now. Try and sell something. I don't care what it is. See if you can make $20, right? That's your only goal. If you can make $20, mission accomplished. Okay. Because right now it's not about the amount. Okay. It's about the action. Get that first sell, get that first flip, and get that momentum started. Like I always say, as long as you live on a planet with other human beings on it, you can make money in the flipping business, and you can make a lot of money in it in some form or another. I don't care if it's the end of the world and everyone's freaking out. I don't care what is going on. The buy and sell business is a business that is timeless. Okay, it's timeless and it's universal. It's a timeless art and it's a timeless vehicle for making money. So that means the concept of flipping, you acquire something at a low price or low cost that people want, or for free, you dress it up, make it pretty, clean it up, stage it, whatever. You then get the item in front of people who want it, and somebody will raise their hand and pay you money for it. And the profit that you make on it is yours. And you simply rinse and repeat. Okay, the principles will never change. The principles and the laws and the concepts of it will never change. Times will change. Environments will change. Economies will change. But we live on a planet of change. Things are constantly changing. But one thing that will never change is what this business all comes down to, which is knowing how to market, knowing how to sell, knowing how to craft ads that sell, knowing how to find items to sell. Now, your mission is to learn the rules of the game. Your number one priority should be to learn how to market, to learn how to sell. But those are all easily learnable. I could teach you all that, a bird's eye view in 20 minutes. Those are all learnable. But it's not about the what or the how right now. It's not about the specific tactics right now. Right now, it's about you. It's about the decisions that you have to make. It's about the belief that you have in yourself and in the opportunity. It's 90% you and your beliefs and getting rid of the doubts you might have and the negative thoughts and negative feelings and the fear and the anxiety and the freaking out. It's 90% you dealing with the psychological part. And it's just 10% of the actual how-to, 10% of the actual techniques and the tactics, the step-by-step. Here's what to do first. Here's what to do second. Here's what to do third. Okay? So get the mindset right. Get the beliefs right. Understand that even though we're going through uncertain times, you have to know how to look for the opportunity. Look at the positive. You have to be positive, right? The moment you can nail that, hit that reset button and recreate, rebuild yourself, at least be positioned in the right direction. The moment you're handed over the how-to, you're just going to skyrocket. So I hope I helped contribute in getting your mindset right. Okay, I hope this episode really gave you some things to chew on and got the pot stirring. Like I said, for now, some of the main points that I wanted to get across is that don't lose hope. Okay, don't lose hope. Stay positive and stay away from the news for a while, right? I mean, you don't have to fully cut yourself off from it, but limit yourself maybe once a day, right? And another thing is get past stop being in denial. If you're in denial about everything that's going on and you're still attached to the old life you had and the old routines you had, let that go. The longer you're clinging on to that, the more pain and suffering you're going to experience. So let that go. Right now is the time for you to rebuild and recreate yourself and reset. It's a reset for yourself. Notice the beauty around you. Notice the opportunity. Notice those things that are coming up to the surface now that time has slowed down. And just kind of be calm, be relaxed, right? Be relaxed. And you'll find that there are so many things that will fulfill you that you totally missed before or you weren't able to see. So like I said, the purpose of this first one was to get your mindset ready, get you mentally prepared and positioned. So once we do get to the step-by-step, the actual what to do, where to go, how to make money part, it'll be a breeze because you'll be ready to take action. It'll be so easy. And everything you touch will turn to gold, right? Because the fact is, most people who are listening to this, unfortunately, the thing that's going to stop them is going to be doubt. It's going to be doubt or some form of excuse. And you can make excuses or you can make money, but you can't do both. Okay, you can make excuses or you can make money, but you can't make both. So choose one. And it all comes from fear. It all comes from fear, which I totally understand. I was freaking out when it first started. I had my moments where I had to call a friend and be like, man, I'm kind of in a rough spot. I feel kind of stressed. I don't know what's happening. Everyone felt that way, right? So it's normal and natural. But what is not healthy is to stay in that state. You have to adapt. Okay, you have to adapt. Okay, it's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. The ones who can adapt while having positive expectations. So with that being said, like I said before, obviously we can't cover everything in this one episode, but as we go, I will post more episodes, okay, with more specifics, I'll be keeping an eye on everything. Obviously, we're all in this together. We're all going through this together. So, you probably have insights that I could benefit from. I probably have ideas that you can find valuable. So like I said, it's not a one-way street. It's two sides, two ways. So I'll be keeping an eye on everything. I do this as far as flipping. This is what I do. So all the insights and things I find as I navigate through this, I'll make sure to post and share. Because my job is to collect all the different pieces of the puzzle scattered, try and put them all together, and then hand them over to you, right? That's what I love doing. So I hope this helped, and I will talk to you guys next time. And remember, you're always one flip away from freedom. See you guys.
This has been the Flipping Ninja Podcast. From the crew at theflippingninja.com, we believe that all Americans should be able to make their own money without having to rely on a job. If you're ready to ditch the 9-to-5, visit theflippingninja.com and join our Flipping Ninja Blueprint Masterclass, where you'll discover how to earn a reliable side income of $1,000 to $5,000 a month flipping things with just 5 to 10 hours a week. See, we're on a mission to help 100,000 people earn $1,000 a month on the side flipping things. Working professionals, students, parents, men, women, artists, techies, entrepreneurs, introverts, total newbies, you name it. Be a part of the revolution and blast out of living paycheck to paycheck once and for all. at www.theflippingninja.com. Until next time, remember, you're just one flip away from freedom. Want to make a difference? If you enjoyed today's show, please pay it forward and head over to iTunes. Give us a rating and leave a review so others just like you can benefit and take charge of their financial future.